Okay. Good evening. Welcome to News Roundup on News.band. My name is Lydia. First, the headlines. PDP fumes as Fayoshe's allies, others join APC. How Ogun Osun River Basin Development Authority sold 2 billion naira assets for 13 million naira. Ibori's daughter Igbagba deadlocked in PDP rep seat contest. Advert executive arrested over offensive EFCC campaign adverts in Enugu. And on sports, Manchester City crowned champions of English Premier League. Angry Saludo vows to stamp out criminal elements in Anambra. Lawan refutes reports of withdrawal, says he will emerge APC candidate. On reconciled delegates list, PDP suspends primaries indefinitely in Imo State. IPOB, Boko Haram members risk life imprisonment. Russia bans 963 Americans, including President Joe Biden. I will consolidate Buhari's achievements, says Akpabio. And Atiku in closed-door meeting with Governor Bala. Now, first story. The People's Democratic Party PDP membership strength has been depleted following the defection of top leaders of the party to the ruling All Progressives Congress ahead of the June 18th governorship poll. The defectors, led by former member of Ekiti Assembly Olusanya Aladeyele and close ally of ex-governor Ayo Dele Fayoshe, were received on Sunday in Ayo, Ekiti, in Irekodun, Ifelodun Council area by the APC leadership. Other defectors were Chief Johnson Aladeyelu, Kemi Fatoki, Folusho Samuel, Roslyn Kweyemi, Lara Afolabi, Sunday Aladeyelu, Dayo Aladeyelu, and Toba Aderemi, Folake Oyelega, and amongst others. A statement by Deputy Director of Media, Biodun Oyebanji, campaign organization, Mr. Wale Olujobi, said that the defectors switched loyalty because of giant strides and developmental policies of the APC-led government in the state. Speaking on behalf of the defectors, Aladeyelus explained that he joined the APC with his supporters having x-rayed all the candidates in the race and finding APC most qualified to take Ekiti to higher pedestal. Aladeyelu said he had tested both sides of party politics in Ekiti state, stressing that the ruling APC and its candidate, Mr. Biodun Oyebanji, represented the greatest hope for actualization of Ekiti founding founders' dreams. The former lawmaker said the PDP in the state is dead and only waiting for its final burial, adding that those who decamped with him are key stakeholders who hold the S in their former party. He promised that they will all deploy the various structures, resources, contacts, and enormous goodwill, and to ensure all-round victory for Oyebanji in the June 18th governorship elections. Atiku in closed-door meetings with Governor Bala. The presidential aspirant of People's Democratic Party, PDP, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, is currently in closed-door meeting with the governor of Bauchi State, Bala Mohammed. Governor Bala is also an aspirant in the presidential race of PDP. Details of that story will come in when we have a hands on them. I will consolidate Buhari's achievements, says Akpabio. The details. Former Niger Delta Affairs Minister and frontline presidential aspirants of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Senator Goswill Akpabio has said that he will consolidate achievements of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration if elected. Akpabio, who was addressing Anambra, Ebonyi, and Enugu APC delegates in Enugu at the weekend, also declared that he would emerge a candidate of the All Progressive Congress, APC. He said he joined the presidential race to win the general election in 2023 and provide good governance for the nation. Akpabio, a former governor, said, "We have only 2 presidential aspirants in APC, and they are Akpabio and others, because I am not only in the race, but in the race to win, and I have faith that I will win because God's will be done in 2023 and I will win. End of quote. He promised never to disappoint Nigerians, particularly the people of Southeast who he addressed as his in-laws. Today, I present myself to you as a detribalized leader who loves Nigeria and ready to carry everybody along, irrespective of religion and ethnic differences, he said. He also vowed to tackle the security situation, particularly in the Southeast, Northeast, and Northwest regions if elected. I know the pains of the people of Southeast, and we are ready to address all the injustice that have led to the agitation in the region. As of today, South-South is the safest region due to our commitments to make the people happy, and we will repeat what we did in South-South also in the Southeast by assuring that justice is done in this region. Akpabio further promised to revitalize the economy and create jobs for teeming youth. Our youth are engaged in all forms of criminal activities today due to lack of jobs, but I want to assure that job creation will be done as we are here to deliver good governance to the people. I want to assure that I will provide infrastructures and fulfill all our promises. I will not promise and fail, as I will work with all Nigerians to develop Nigeria, he assured. IPOB Boko Haram members risk life imprisonment. Members of terrorist organizations Boko Haram and the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, risk maximum sentence or life imprisonment. This is contained in the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act signed into law recently by President Muhammadu Buhari. However, the law has created a defense for members of the proscribed groups, which will enable them to escape either the minimum or maximum sentence. The law states a person who is a member professes to be a member of a terrorist group or a proscribed entity in or outside Nigeria commits an offense and is liable on conviction to imprisonment for a term of not less than 20 years and up to a maximum of life imprisonment. It shall be a defense for a person charged with an offense under subsection 1 of this section that the entity in respect of which the charge is brought was not a terrorist group or a proscribed entity at the time that that person became a member or began to profess membership of that group or entity. And the person has not taken part in activities of that group or entity after it became a terrorist group or proscribed entity. A person who conspires with another to commit an offense under this part in Nigeria or to commit an act of terrorism in any place outside Nigeria, being an act which is done in Nigeria would have constituted an offense, is deemed to have conspired to do that act in Nigeria and is liable on conviction to the same punishment as provided under this bill for the offense to which the conspiracy relates. It states further that anybody who being in lawful custody for acts of terrorism escapes from custody or aids, facilitates, or abates the escape of a person who is in lawful custody of the relevant agencies for an act of terrorism or suspected to have committed an offense under any of the provisions of this bill commits an offense and is liable on conviction to imprisonment for a term of not less than 20 years. In addition, financing the travel of individuals who travel to a state other than their states of residency or nationality for the perpetration, planning, or preparation of, or participation in terrorism, in terrorist acts, or providing or receiving of terrorist training is deemed to have committed an offense and is liable upon conviction to imprisonment for a term of not less than 20 years and up to a maximum of lifetime imprisonment. A person who commits an offense under subsection 1 of this section is liable on conviction where death does not result from the act to life imprisonment or where death results from the act to a death sentence. And the next story is unreconciled delegates list PDP suspends primaries indefinitely in Imo State. The details. The People's Democratic Party in Imo State said it has suspended its primaries for the House of Assembly and House of Representatives indefinitely over unreconciled delegates list. A statement by the legal advisor of the party in the state, Mr. Kisinga Ikoku, on Sunday attributed the non-conduct of the primaries to confusion caused by the National Assembly. Ikoku explained that Imo would not vote along with other states who were now voting with their 3-man and 1-man national delegates. He said, "Please note that the reason for the suspension of the PDP House of Assembly and House of Representatives primaries in Imo State was a result of the confusion that arose from the error of the National Assembly in the country. This is hinged on Section 48, subsection 8 of the Electoral Act, which inadvertently led to the exclusion of over 80% of delegates ordinarily meant to vote at the primaries. The Imo PDP's case became compounded because it hadn't tidied up its 3-man ad hoc delegates who ought to vote at the primaries due to pending litigations. Every preparation was made for us to use our statutory delegates to vote before the National Assembly saw the error in Section 48 of the amended Electoral Act 2022, which excluded the statutory delegates. What it means is that it's created a situation of chaos for Imo because we have not concluded our elected delegates," he explained. He urged party faithfuls to ignore fit columnists writing about crisis within the party. According to him, there was no crisis as the leadership of the party at all levels were working together to make sure our ad hoc committee delegates are declared, cleared to vote at our primaries on a later date to be announced. He assured them that as soon as the President, Major General Muhammadu Buhari retired, signed the amended Electoral Act 2022, the state delegate list will be properly constituted to vote at the primaries. Lawan first report of withdrawal says he will emerge APC candidate. Senate President and frontline presidential aspirant of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Dr. Ahmad Lawan, has refuted reports of him withdrawing from the presidential race to pursue another term in the Senate. This is even as he encouraged his supporters not to entertain fear, as he is working tirelessly to emerge the candidate of the APC. In a statement issued on Sunday by the spokesperson of Ahmad Lawan Presidential Campaign Organization, Mr. Ike Ekeoma, Lawan clearly dismissed the possibility of running for another term in Yobe East Senatorial District. He described as mischief the reports that he has withdrawn from the race, noting that those who planted the report were jittery of his political popularity, regional acceptance, and dominance in the political space. Hence, they cooked up the fake report to create confusion. Part of the statement reads, Nigerians should ignore the sponsored lies by some aspirants to distract the Senate President, Dr. Ahmad Lawan, from his quest to succeed President Muhammadu Buhari in the next presidential election. Contrary to their unnecessary fabrications against the nationally accepted presidential ambition of Senator Lawan, we restate for the pleasure of progressive Nigerians that the falsehood trending currently is in social media that Senator Lawan has dropped his ambition to run for another term in Yobe East Senatorial Zone is false. It is understandable that Lawan's entrance into the presidential race to compete against 25 other aspirants has become the major discussion on his entrance, as his entrance has changed the political dynamics of the nation. The withdrawal reports were a mere handiwork of politicians who were intimidated by the experience of the Senate President and his massive gains in the last few days. The ambition to become the president of Nigeria after President Muhammadu Buhari is alive, and Nigerians should be rest assured that he is in the race to win and not just to aspirants. All supporters of Lawan should not entertain fear, as he is working tirelessly to emerge as the candidate of the APC. And resolved vows to stamp out criminal elements in Anambra State. The executive governor of Anambra State, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, has vowed to stamp out criminal elements terrorizing his state following the gruesome murder of lawmaker Honorable Okechukwu Okoye by gunmen suspected to be members of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra. Soludo, who condemned the killing, called on every community to brace up and join forces with the state government in order to reclaim the state. The governor, in a statement, further consoled the families of Honorable Okechukwu Okoye, Siri Chiebuka, and the people of Isofia over the great loss. He also announced 10 million naira bounty for any information that will lead to the arrest of the criminals who carried out the wicked acts. These are my brothers, Honorable Okechukwu Okoye, Okedioke, and Cyril Chibuka, were murdered in the most gruesome manner. No human being should ever have to experience death in that way. For no just reason, rampaging criminals have elected to desecrate our land with the blood of the innocent. This is a test of our resolve, and we are more emboldened than cowed that this criminality must be stamped out of our land. Omonim Ndi Anambra, this is not who we are. The party is over, and every community must brace up to join forces with government in this war to reclaim our land. Okay, and Sarah will never die in vain. May God console their young families, the people of Isofia and the Anambra. May their souls and all others who have lost their lives in the hands of these criminals continue to rest in peace. We have placed a 10 million naira ransom, a 10 million naira bounty for anyone with useful information. This war is one that Anambra must win, he said. Advent executives arrested over offensive EFCC campaign adverts in Enugu. Operatives of the Enugu Command of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, have arrested an outdoor advertisement executive over political advertisements that appeared in 2 billboards in Enugu bearing the name and logo of the commission. The 2 Super 48-sheet billboards located at Otigba and Zik Avenue junctions in Enugu bore offensive messages using the name of the EFCC to threaten the aspiration of some politicians in the state in the build-up to the 2023 general elections. One of the messages read, 2023, Enugu PDP learned from 2007 election, EFCC is coming with Koboko on corrupt candidates. Following credible intelligence received by the commission, operatives of the commission on Saturday, May 21st, 2020, arrested one Baron Namdi, the alleged designer, printer, and owner of the billboards hosting the offensive political campaign messages. He has volunteered a statement to the commission claiming he was contracted by a media aide to a former deputy governor of the state with governorship ambition. He claimed he was paid $160,000 for the one-week campaign and that the media aide to the former deputy governor supplied him with the messages, EFCC logo, and pictures of operatives used for the advertisements. Following his arrest, operatives of the commission visited 2 sites and pulled down the offensive advertisements. Meanwhile, the commission wants politicians to play by the rule and refrain from dragging the EFCC into the political fray. It reiterates that apart from issues of economic and financial crimes which fall within its purview, the commission has no role in the political process and should not be distracted. It stated further that it will not hesitate to bring the full weight of the law to bear on errant politicians who continue to impersonate the commission and its operatives. Gunmen vow to behead more lawmakers in Anambra State. Details of the story. Less than 24 hours after killing Honorable Okechukwu Okoye, lawmaker who represented Agwata 2 constituency at the Anambra State House of Assembly, gunmen suspected to be members of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, have threatened to kill more Anambra lawmakers. Honorable Okoye was kidnapped in Agwata on the 15th of May but his head was found in Inobi, Idemili South local government area of the state on Saturday. News.band cited a note dropped beside the head of Okoye, which was dumped by the roadside. In the note, the killers vowed that more heads would roll. The letter was not to clear due to raindrops, but it started with the word warning. At some point, it read, "Everywhere you go, you cannot hide anywhere. We will go after you one by one because soldiers and police is no longer our problem." How Ogun River Basin Development Authority sold 2 billion naira assets for 13 million naira. The Office of the Auditor General of the Federation has queried the management of the Ogun River Basin Development Authority for reportedly selling of government plant, property, and equipment (PPE) valued at over 2 billion naira for a paltry sum of 13.618 million naira. Consequently, the Public Accounts Committee (PAC) of the House of Representatives, being chaired by Honorable Busayo Oluwole Oke, drilled the managing director of the agency, Olufemi Odumosu, last Friday to unravel the mystery behind the deal. However, Odumosu, who justified his action, told the committee that PPE were disposed through public actions carried out by the auctioneers appointed by the Federal Ministry of Water Resources, who also approved the auction. Records of the PPE auction cited by newsmen covering the investigation revealed that an 800 kVA Perkins diesel generating set bought by the agency in 2006 for an undisclosed amount was sold for 550,000 naira in 2018 after being branded unserviceable. The Office of the Auditor General for the Federation has queried the management of the Ocean River Basin Development Authority, reportedly selling of government land. Pardon us. However, Odumosu, who justified his action, told the committee that that PPE were disposed through public auctions carried out by the auctioneers appointed by the federal government, by the Federal Ministry of Water Resources, who also approved the auctions. Also, a Toyota Camry 2.5L bought in 2013 for 8.150 million with a book value of 1.222 million, which would have cost the agency 1.2 million to repair, was sold for 22,500 naira, while trimmers bought in 2004 and lawnmowers bought in 2005 were sold for 2,000 and 6,500 naira, respectively. Ibori's daughter, Ikpaka, deadlocked in PDP rep seat contest. No official winner was declared in the People's Democratic Party primaries election held in Ethiopia federal constituency on Sunday, as the two contestants, Ben Rolands Ikpaka and Chief James Ibori's daughter, Ehiatake Ibori Shonu, tied at the end of the contest held in Ogara Delta State. The result of the party primary ended in a stalemate as the two contestants scored 34 votes each. Ikwapa, while reacting to the result via his Facebook page post, thanked God for the polls. However, Ibori's daughter was yet to make any formal statement on the primary's verdict as of the time of filing this report. It was gathered that the party will take final decisions later on the modalities of deciding the winner for the constituency. Whether or not it will be through a rerun. Meanwhile, the contest for the party primaries in Isoko constituency was marred with crisis as unknown gunmen stormed the election venue, shooting sporadically shortly after the election results were announced. The state legal advisor of the party, Bernard Odion, had won with 23 votes, thus beating the incumbent, Jude Ogbimi, who polled 1 vote. And Manchester City crowned champions of English Premier League. Manchester City retained the Premier League title in the most dramatic of fashion as they hauled themselves back from 2-0 down to beat Aston Villa at 3-2 with 3 goals in the final 15 minutes. Ike Gundogan came off the bench to score twice, with Rodri also on target as Pep Guardiola's men held off Liverpool's title charge to win the league by a point. In reminiscent of the first of City's now 6 league title in 11 seasons, with Sergio Aguero scored a 93rd minute winner to deny Manchester United with title on goal difference. The champions produced a remarkable comeback at the Etihad. Goals from Marty Cash and former Liverpool favourite Philippe Coutinho looks set to give the Reds the title. Jurgen Klopp's men did their job by also coming from a goal down to beat Wolves 2-1 at Anfield, but City's rescue act ensured Liverpool's bid for an unprecedented quadruple is over. Gundogan started the comeback as he headed in Raheem Sterling's cross at the back post. Rodri then side-footed home from outside the box, and Gundogan completed the fight back by tapping home Kevin De Bruyne's cross at the back post. Guardiola said before the game he wanted no repeat of Aguero's legendary late strike a decade ago. But the charlatan was the most relieved man in Manchester as he sealed the 10th league title of his coaching career in just 13 seasons. Fans swarmed onto the pitch to celebrate at full time, and the crossbar at the goal where City scored all their goals was snapped under the weight of supporters sitting on it. And finally, Russia bans 963 Americans, including President Joe Biden. Russia government has banned over 963 Americans, including President Joe Biden. The Foreign Ministry of Russia yesterday published a list of 963 US nationals permanently banned from entering the country. President Biden, former WH Press Secretary Jen Psaki, and even Morgan Freeman made it onto the Foreign Ministry dossier. The list is in response to the continuously imposed anti-Russian sanctions from the US and incoming requests about the exact composition of our national stop list, the foreign minister said in a statement. With that, we've come to the end of the news for today. My name is Lydia. Just before I go, I'd like to say thank you very much for listening. And of course, do visit our social media pages on Instagram, Facebook, and do subscribe to our YouTube channels. Thank you, and have yourselves a pleasant night rest. Bye.